Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome, folks. Today the Hungry Gamer is back with the first annual Beatrice the Board Game Dog Game of the Year tournament. It's a lot. And so, what this is Beatrice's chance to pick her game of the year. And her pool of games is from every single game that she posed for on Instagram, and the copy of the game is still here in the house, are eligible for this tournament. So some of them I just don't have anymore because maybe I didn't like them very much. Some of them I got and I gave away to other people, or some of them I had to send on to somebody else. So some of the games that Beatrice had pictures for aren't on the list. But all the ones that are actually possible for her to pick from are on the list. Now, that came to 13 different games, which means 3 games get a bye into the second round. So how did we decide that? I simply went and I looked and saw which of the pictures had the most likes. And the top 3 are the ones that wound up with the 3 byes into round 2. So what's going to happen is I'm going to give you the opportunity to fill out your own bracket. In fact, right down in the description, you can find a link to it where you get your own bracket. You can fill it out however you'd like to fill it out, and you can send it in to me. You can email it to me, and I will put it in the pool, make sure you got your name on and all that kind of stuff. And what's going to happen is I'm going to do a series of videos of each round of the tournament. And the way that we are going to go through who is the winner of each round is very simple. There's one thing that Beatrice the Board Game Dog loves more than board games, and that's blueberries. And other trees, but mostly blueberries. So, I will take for each round, we will have both games set out on the floor, and I will put a blueberry in front of each one of those games. And then we will release the beast! And whichever one she goes to first, clearly, that is the game that she likes the most. There is no other reason she would go to one game over the other, unless she obviously liked it more than the other one. So, let's talk about the different games in the bracket. First, I'll start with the 3 games that got the bye. The number 1 seed, getting the most likes, would be Flamecraft. This is a family weight, light Euro game with adorable little dragons from Cardboard Alchemy. The second game that got a bye would be Planet Unknown from Adam's Apple Games. This is a simultaneous play 1 to 6 player polyomino game where you're terraforming different planets, and to collect your polyominoes there's a lazy Susan in the middle that you're spinning around, and everyone's picking tiles from there, different sections of the lazy Susan as you're going on, and you have different goals that you're trying to accomplish, and you're competing with the neighbor on your right and on your left. The third bye went to Familiar Tales from Plaid Hat Games. And this is a heavily story-based, app-driven narrative game with elements of deck building and lots of adventure. And in this world where the princess has been entrusted to the familiars of the wizard and sent off to protect her throughout the entire story. And you'll play through the game in 3 different phases. In each phase, the princess gets older and older and older. Now, those are the ones that got the byes. All the rest are just randomly placed in the bracket. But I'll mostly kind of go back and forth across the bracket, more or less. So the next one on the list is Glow. This is from, well, I can't remember who it's from, but it's on the board right now. And this is a beautiful art game. Very, very light, though depending on which side of the board you're playing on, it has more or less strategy to it, where you're playing over a series of 7 or 8 rounds. Each round you're getting a new adventure to kind of join your journey, your campaign, and you're drafting collections of dice and rolling those dice, and then spending your points to re-roll those dice and trying to get your way all the way across the map, gaining as many points as you can as you go. Next one is Vagrant Song, and this is a boss battler game with kind of cartoonish art where each person is a vagrant making their way through this ghost train. As they go through this ghost train, there are haints or kind of cursed souls, and you're trying to free them and save them. And as you play through, you kind of skip around the game to different bosses, different stories as you go. Next one's Asking for Troubles. This is a very light worker placement style game, though it has a couple of expansions that you can add into that up the complexity just a little bit. The kind of big push for this one, what has me so excited, is it plays really well at a high player count because it just goes so fast, and it's a game where you are often you often get a benefit by bumping people off of their spot and giving it back to them, which allows them to take more and more actions. Next one on the list is actually the only one that I have not gotten to play yet. It's actually still in the shrink, and that is Veiled Fate. Now, why is it in the shrink? It's still in the shrink because I've been working on Mythic Mischief, which is another one they sent me, and a bunch of other games, and, well, Veiled Fate's a higher player count game, so I just haven't gotten to it yet. But Veiled Fate, it's one I'm really, really excited to play, so I guess now I really, really have to, because now it's in the tournament, and I'm really looking forward to getting to that over the holidays. Next one on the list is Feudum. This is known to be one of the heaviest games out there. I've gotten a chance to dive into it a little bit, and it is intimidating, but there's a lot of cool stuff going on in there, some fascinating things of a game that is just, it's really hard to do stuff. It's really hard to figure out what it is that you want to do, not necessarily rules-wise, but just to do the things you need. It's very, very challenging, very, very brain-burning, but I'm excited to play more of it, and really looking forward to doing a solo video on that when I finally feel like I've mastered the game. Next we have Korra, Rise of Empires, and this is a civilization building game. I actually just put a video out about it, and really, more so than anything else, you're selecting different tiles as you go through, depending on the dice that you roll, and you're moving yourself up tracks. It's a bunch of tracks you're moving up, and you're trying to come up with the best strategy of cards built into your tableau and build the best engine so you can go up these tracks the fastest, more or less. Next one on the list is, I lied. I said there was only one I hadn't played. There's two I haven't played. Next one is Dungeon Fighter, and this is a dungeon crawl style game, or I guess adventure game. There's not really a dungeon you're going through in the traditional sense of dungeon crawl, but instead of rolling dice traditionally, when you're doing your fighting, you're actually tossing the dice through the air, bouncing them onto this target, and that determines how well you do. And depending on what it is you're trying to do, you may be required to maybe throw the die under your leg or behind your back or whatever it is that it may be. And so that is Dungeon Fighter. Next one on the list I just mentioned earlier is Mythic Mischief. This is a relatively highly asymmetric game where each player is moving their faction around the library, staying away from the Tome Keeper, trying to stay out of trouble while they're doing their mischief in the library. The asymmetricality of it is, even though each player has the same type of actions, each faction does those actions fairly differently when they're switching with other players and so on and so on. That is a Mythic Mischief. I've enjoyed that one. Hopefully have the review out soon. Next one on the list is Oathsworn, and that is one that, well, it's all the rage right now. I really, really, really like it. I haven't finished it, but I was very glowing about it in my review. Boss battler, heavy story, app-driven, though you don't have to use the app, but I recommend using the app. And the last one is another one I haven't played yet. So clearly, I should have been paying attention to the list the two times I said, these are the games I haven't played before. This one just recently delivered. It is a kind of sandbox-style adventure game, but not combat-oriented. It's more discovery-oriented, quest-oriented, moving around, anthropomorphic animals, some fun little dice mechanics that you're using as you're trying to solve these adventures or go through the game. And that is the last one on the list. So, here's the deal. I'm going to leave this up for maybe a week or so, and in that time, that is your time to fill out the bracket. And go ahead and fill it out. Do it. I don't know what Beatrice is going to like, so it's really hard for you to pick anything of what might make it all the way to the end. And what's going to happen is whoever is the winner, whoever picks the right game, and if multiple people pick the right game, I'll look and see who did the best all around each round. If I need to figure it out, correct picks in the first round will be worth 1 point, correct picks in the next round will be worth 2 points, then 3 points, and I'll just kind of go up like that if multiple people have the winning pick as we go through. And the winner is going to get a copy of Too Many Bones Undertow. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Hungry, that's already open. You're right, it is open, and here's why. Because this is one that the fine folk at Chip Theory Games were kind enough to give to me to give away all the way back at Origins. So I was thinking, oh, I'll just do this for my 5,000 subscriber celebration. Well, I haven't hit 5,000 yet. And rather than hold on to it for longer, I want you all to get to play the game. So I have this one. Now, the reason that they offered it to me is because it showed up not in shrink. Don't know why. There was one box in their case from the factory, just wasn't in shrink. And Andrew was nice enough to ask me if I wanted to give it away. He said they went through it. As near as they can tell, everything is in there, but it wasn't in shrink. So, well, we're not going to sell it because it's not in shrink. So this is the prize. A copy of Too Many Bones Undertow. This is one of my favorite games of all time that you will win. And it only seems fair that if we have a second and third place who've also picked the actual winner, you'll get something too. I don't know what it is, but I will certainly talk to some publishers and see if I can get something for us. Wait! Now, I know I said that I was going to be giving away this massively heavy game. However, in between my filming the previous portion and now, I have been given a very generous offer to add 2 more potential prizes to the prize pool. So not only will the winner get first choice of Too Many Bones Undertow or a signed copy of Backyard Chickens, but they will also have the option of getting either a core pledge of Lunar Rush or a copy of Omicron Protocol, which Omicron Protocol would ship right away, and Lunar Rush, obviously, you would get a core pledge added to the pledge manager. You can go in and you could upgrade it or not, whatever. So those are the actual prizes now. And so what I'll wind up doing is whoever finishes first will get first choice, then second place gets second choice, third place will get third choice. All right, back to the old video. So there you have it, folks. That is the bracket for Beatrice the Board Games Dog Game of the Year 2022. I think it'll be fun. I will film each round. We'll put them up. You can watch, see how you're doing. And I'll have all the details as to how you can enter, how you can win down in the description. The only thing I'll say is to get this thing shipped to you for free, then you do need to be in the continental US. If you are outside of the continental US, does not mean you can't win. You just might have to subsidize the shipping a bit. So whatever the overage is from what it would cost, cover that and I will send it your way. And the other thing I'll say about that is you do need to be 18 years old to win. That's kind of the rules for stuff here in America, maybe not elsewhere. I don't know if it really is a rule I have to follow, but if you're under 18, then get your parents to submit, something like that. All right? So there you have it, folks. Fill out those brackets, take your pictures of them, email them in, and we'll see how this goes. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.